They say the suburbs are quiet, peaceful, but peace only exists when people respect boundaries. Some people never learn. It all started on a Friday morning. I was standing in line at my usual coffee shop, just 3 blocks from home, when my phone buzzed. Twice. Smart lock breach detected. Then federal response initiated. My stomach dropped. I pulled up my home security feed. Right there in line on the screen was Karen Whitfield, the Willowbrook HOA president, standing in my side yard, bolt cutters in hand, smug smirk on her face. At her feet, my $3,000 Titan X7 smart lock severed clean in 2. I watched in disbelief as she muttered something about unauthorized renovations and neighborhood standards. She had no idea she just tripped a federal security alert. Because what Karen didn't know is that my Titan X7 lock isn't your average home security. It's part of a pilot system I helped design during my time in federal cyber defense. Biometric access, military-grade encryption, and a direct alert to federal agencies if tampered with. Karen had just triggered it. Within seconds, black SUVs turned onto my street. 1, then 2, then 6. By the time she reached for the door handle, it was too late. Federal agents leapt from their vehicles. Drop the tool, hands in the air. Karen froze. Her smug expression melted into panic. Her arms shot up like she'd been waiting her whole life to surrender. The HOA was suddenly just another trespasser and over her head. But to understand how we got here, you have to go back a few months. My name is Marcus Chen. I spent 23 years as a senior cybersecurity analyst for a government contractor. After retiring, I bought a house on Maple Street. It had everything I wanted: 3 bedrooms, a detached side unit perfect for my personal lab, and quiet neighbors. Except Karen. From the moment I moved in, she was watching. She approached me while I was watering my lawn, clipboard in hand, designer sunglasses perched like a crown. "Mr. Chen," she chirped, "I noticed you've made modifications to your property. That lock wasn't approved by the architectural committee." I stayed calm. "It's permitted by the city. Perfectly legal." Her smile tightened like she'd bitten into a lemon. "Well, the HOA has its own standards," I smiled back. "I'll take a look." That was mistake number 1. You don't dismiss Karen Whitfield. She doesn't forget. And she definitely doesn't forgive. Within a week, the complaints began. First, the tint on my windows. Then, the trash cans out too long. The satellite dish, a visual nuisance. She even showed up once to measure my grass with a literal ruler. Then she saw the deliveries. Discreet vans dropping off encrypted hardware. Server racks, secure routers. All perfectly normal in my line of work. But to Karen, it was suspicious. Criminal, even. She confronted me one evening. "Marcus, the neighbors are concerned. These vans, these packages. What exactly are you doing in that side unit?" "I work in cybersecurity," I told her. "It's all legal." Her eyes narrowed. "I demand access. We have a right to know." I shut the door. That was mistake number 2. She became obsessed. The call started. Complaints to the city. Bogus wellness checks. She even hired a private investigator who quit after 2 days. Told me I was the most boring guy he'd ever tailed. That silence afterward. That was what worried me most. Karen didn't give up. She planned. And then came that day. While I was out on a remote call with some colleagues, Karen made her move. I caught the whole thing on my security feed. She crept up my driveway, checked over her shoulder, bolt cutters in hand. The snap of the lock echoed. In that instant, the federal alert system activated. By the time she reached for the doorknob, 6 federal SUVs roared down the street. Agents flooded my property. "Drop the cutters. Hands where we can see them." Karen raised her hands like she'd just realized she wasn't in charge of anything anymore. When I arrived 20 minutes later, the street looked like a crime scene from a movie. Federal agents everywhere. Karen sat in the back of a black SUV, stunned. Agent Rivera greeted me. Your system worked flawlessly, no breach. But she's facing serious consequences. I asked what would happen. If we don't press federal charges, the state still will. Property damage, trespassing, unlawful entry. 2 days later, the HOA held an emergency meeting. Todd, the jittery VP, read the announcement. Due to legal complications, Karen Whitfield has voluntarily stepped down as HOA president. No one asked why. Everyone already knew. I asked the feds for leniency. They agreed. No federal charges, but the state still hit her hard. 2 years probation, 40 hours community service, full restitution for the lock, and a restraining order. Karen is now legally banned from coming within 100 feet of my property. I even upgraded the system. Now, if she ever tries again, a calm robotic voice will greet her. Unauthorized approach detected. Federal authorities have been notified. Please vacate the premises. Petty? Maybe. But after months of harassment, it feels fair. The neighborhood changed. The new HOA president, Susan, actually listens to people. Complaints dropped. Kids started playing outside again. Karen. She sold her house to pay legal fees. The last time anyone saw her, she was loading a U-Haul alone. No clipboard. No sunglasses. No smug smile. Just silence. I still work in my side unit. Still protect what matters. Still get late-night deliveries. And every time I walk past that lock, I remember what happened when Karen Whitfield thought she was above the rules. It only took 5 seconds to go from HOA queen to a federal cautionary tale.